Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Podcast with four different flavors coming from four different gamers. I am your host, Shane Eisterhold, and I'd like to welcome my co-host, Nick Irwin, Patrick Smith, and Russell Rowe.
Hey, Patrick, where can they find us?
Well, the first place you should check out is our website at ittastes.different.com. This is the place where you can subscribe to all of our streams and connect to all of our social media sites. You can also find us on Facebook at It Tastes Different. We're also on Instagram at It Tastes Different PC. And then last but not least is Twitter, where you can find us at It Tastes Diff.
What's for dinner? We order our steak the cowboy way with Killing Floor 2. It is a 2017 release on the Xbox. It is published and developed by Tripwire Interactive. Later on, it was supported by Saber Interactive. It's obviously a sequel to the original Killing Floor from 2009. It is basically just a straight-up multiplayer run-and-gun game, and it is something we've all been working on here. It is one we would consider a hidden gem if you listen to our previous podcast regarding games that you probably should check out. You should check out that episode. First off, let's start with Russell today. Russ, what is your thought on Killing Floor 2?
Let's see. What are my thoughts? Death, destruction, mayhem, hand cramps after 12 maps. It's good fun, solid shooter, fun game of I mean, it's like, I don't know, the best way I was thinking about it the other day was it's like Rainbow Siege before Rainbow Siege. I mean, it's like not necessarily the first because it is an older game of the genre, but it kind of like maybe like started the trend, or like it does everything right. It is a little frustrating that you do have to have some play to win stuff. Not really play to win, I should say play to have options. You do have to play a lot to be able to get some of those customizations for the weapons and things like that, or you can buy them off the Microsoft Store. That's a little frustrating, but at the end, the game is what the game is. It's a lot of fun for the four of us to get on and play and just kill things. I mean, there's a lot of different modes to it. There's some PvP, there's some PvE, there's some even just your little group of people where just you. There's that one mode where we played versus each other. It was 2-on-2. I think me and Patrick started off as kind of the zombies, and then we tagged you guys. I mean, I think I laughed for an hour after that. That was fantastic. So it's got a lot of different game modes. It's really a simplistic game. You pick kind of not a class, but an area of expertise, and your weapons kind of go along with that. I picked Gunslinger. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's an accuracy kind of thing. A lot of headshots. The guns were pretty cool. There's nothing better than dual wielding a couple of pistols and running around shooting zombies' heads off. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think it'll probably be in the rotation, at least for some time. Maybe not forever, but for some time it'll be in the rotation for us as a group. And I mean, overall, my first initial comments on it is it's a whole lot of fun. Don't expect over the top of anything on it. Just expect a lot of fun. So I'll go to Nick. I'll throw it to Nick and see what Nick thinks about the game. Nick?
Yeah, this game is pretty much like Russ said. It's a lot of fun to play. It's just your typical kind of AI, versus bots type of scenario. They do have a lot of different modes and a lot of maps that you can choose from. So there's definitely a lot of variety in your maps and stuff. So you're not recycling the same few maps every so often. They have a big selection of maps. I think 15 or so, maybe a little more than that, maybe up to 20 different maps that you can choose from, which are all varied and have their distinct look and feel to them. So they're all pretty cool. There's different modes that you can play, like Russ was saying. Your main typical mode is just going to be you versus AI, kind of waves, kind of like Horde mode from Gears of War type of thing to think about how it plays out. And, like Russ said, you can pick a kind of specialization in your class. I chose Commando, which starts off with like the burst rifle. And from there, you can upgrade those weapons. You can upgrade pretty much after every wave. You get money. You can go to these pods And in these pods, you can either upgrade your weapon or you can buy other weapons. And you don't have to buy weapons from your class selection. You can buy weapons from any of the classes that they have. And as you purchase the weapons and use them, let's say you are a commander like myself, and then you buy like a gun from the demolition class, which has a lot of explosive weapons and stuff. Then at the end of the game, you'll get experience into those classes. Now, it's not as much as your class that you've chosen, but you still get experience that goes towards those, so you can upgrade or level those classes up too. Any of the classes that you kind of like. Each class has perks that you'll get depending on the level. I think at level 5 or 10 is you get your first perk, and then it kind of goes on from there. I think level 20, 30, so on and so forth, or something like that, where you unlock different perks. And then once you've unlocked your perks, you can select between 2 different perks. So once you unlock the perk, you basically get when you open up the menu, you have 2 options on what you want the perk to do. Like an example, maybe one side of it gives you more health, or maybe the other side gives you more ammo or something like that. So you can switch those on and off, change them around as much as you want. You don't have to keep the selection that you have. So maybe you pick one, you're like, I don't really like that perk. Let me try the ammo one, and you can just change it when you go to the menu. So that's all cool. Like what I said, there's a lot of cosmetic stuff that you can get and you can unlock. You get money after every round, then you go to the vault, which then puts the money in there, and then you unlock boxes, and the boxes usually have one cosmetic item in there, and it may or may not be for the person you've selected, which you can change your character at any time, and then you can swap off those cosmetic items as you see fit in the menu before you start a match. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's probably going to be in the rotation. It's a game that's pretty fun. Like if you don't have anything else to do and you kind of want to play a game together, it's a nice game to boot up and play a few rounds of and just have a good time. Overall, I think it's a pretty fun game, and if you have a group of friends and kind of looking for something to play, this is definitely one that you can pick up and play and have a lot of fun in. I think it's usually on sale pretty often, and I don't think it's a very expensive game to start with. So, an easy pickup for anybody out there looking for a 4-player co-op kind of horde mode, Gears of War type thing, that type of gameplay. But Patrick, what did you think of Killing Floor 2?
Yep, so I will pretty much agree. It's a good little co-op game because we're lacking some of that right now. So we were just kind of looking for something that we could all play and enjoy without having to be too involved with, or that just kind of lets you drop in, drop out type stuff. So basically this game's from like 1 to 6 players. And I would consider this kind of like a tower type challenge game, if you will, where basically you're going through so many waves and it gets progressively harder and harder and harder. And depending on the mode you pick, you could have intermediate bosses between so many levels and stuff like that, because it's set up to basically run like different lengths. So you can do like an endless mode. You could do like a short length game that's like 4 waves, and a mid range, which is more like 10, and so on and so forth. And there are so many maps, as everybody said. There's a ton of different maps. And one of the things, too, is that I think like 6 of the maps have they have objective-based games, which are the ones I consider the funnest, which is things like, protect the scout drone while it's doing its thing, or go get tablets, or go get this and protect the zone and stuff like that. I found those to be the more fun of the maps because it was more than just killing. Because at some point, you just get to the point where after a few rounds, you bought a new gun or upgraded your gun, you could pretty much just mow through just about anything. It's lots of gore, lots of stuff like that, lots of melee. It's brutal. There's blood and guts everywhere of all the Zed, and then it has also something called Zed time. So if like one member of your party headshots a Zed, it goes into like the slow motion, giving you time to kill zombies and stuff like that. But I don't know about anybody else's luck, but half the time it feels like every time we enter Zed mode, I'm freaking reloading, and the whole time it's in Zed mode, I'm reloading my gun. Wait, I wish I could have shot something,
Yes.
Yeah. Because once you get to like, what is it? I think it's 30, which is the cap. You can unlock the specialized Zed mode, which lets you, depending on the class, because I picked the Firebug, which is like a flamethrower guy who adds fire damage to everything he does. So even the machine gun that I use sets him on fire. So. And there's a perk I got that if a zombie or a Zed touches another Zed, he sets that Zed on fire, and it's just a chain reaction type thing. But at level 30, you get one where it basically means that during Z time, like a couple of things can happen. One of them is like unlimited ammo. My guy has one that's unlimited ammo, so I can just shoot. And the other one is real time, where as all the Zedder and everybody else is in slow time, I can be in real time, just shooting and reloading the whole Z time. So, you get like a specialized level 30, which is the cap for the characters. And there's a lot of characters in the game, different types of classes and characters that you can play. It's pretty unique, I should say. Like I said, as Nick said, it's pretty much like a typical Horde game, but it has a few unique things in there, like the perks that are a little unique for each class, and then the different game types. Like some of the bosses can be pretty nasty. We've played. I also we just got done with the holiday themed, and that was kind of cool. They did a little holiday. All the Zed are holiday themed instead of being their normal ones. So like a lot of the little. I don't remember what they are. Are they called the crawlers? Were like Christmas presents and stuff like that, And I think the stalkers were gingerbread men, and and all the bosses were Christmas themed, So it got to be pretty.
Santa Claus was the pacifier or something like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and the Scrake was Rudolph, and the quarter pounders were
flesh pounder, not quarter pounder.
Quarter pound. That's what they're called. Quarter pound is what they are. The quarter pound are the ones with the metal hands, not the spinning hands.
Oh, not the big one. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Not the big one. Like
the quarter pound were what were those guys? They were the
nutcrackers.
Yeah. So so it was kind of interesting how they did all that stuff, and every enemy was just a little bit Christmased up. They were just Christmassy, which was just really funny. So. And then, like, the bloaters, they were just, like, puking reindeer or something weird like that. You know what they were? I just remember they weren't, like, the big blob-looking things with knives. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that the game's been out for 3 years now, so they've been doing, I guess, holiday-themed things. I'm in agreement with Russ, though. It annoys me that all the cosmetic items are locked behind not really a paywall, but you do have to play like a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean, we played weekends long and I barely got enough to do one box, so it takes a lot unless you want to spend real world money, but I'm not willing to spend that for cosmetic items.
And the terrible thing was those boxes were random on top of it all.
Yeah. Cause I have not got a single box for my character, the one that I've been playing, the character that I've been sticking with, but for the most part, this is a pretty great game for just wasting time and hanging out with your friends and just randomly killing stuff, because it's what we do, and then I'm not a big PvP person, but like Russ said, we did do the little versus match, and the versus match basically puts half the team as the Zed and the other half is the players, and then it just swaps over once you die. So that's kind of an interesting concept. Playing the bad guys. And when you play the bad guys, you have a lot more health than the normal bad guys. So that kind of sucks for the opposing team, because it's a little bit harder to kill those big guys once they start coming at you, especially as they got more health now. But I'd say there's just a lot of weapons, too. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there's so many different types of weapons in this game, like explosive weapons, fire weapons, umpteen different pistols, and just stuff like that. So.
And that's kind of a rare thing for a game of this nature, of like having such a vast. I mean, they're all basically the same weapons. I mean, they're all projectile-based weapons for the most part. I mean, you can't, when you're doing a first-person shooter and you're doing a shoot 'em up game, but at the same time, they have a variety enough to at least a huge variety just to make it kind of interesting. I mean, I know even in with the pistol portion of it. I had the Glock 18, which was a semi-automatic, so it's like having two little SMGs in my hands, and those were pistols, or considered pistols. They had the Frost guns, so those kind of like, depending on how you fired and how you shot, would slow and freeze targets to help other people shoot them up. So it was at least a little bit of a variety in that, than just some other games that have just the basic M16, M4, SMG gun, whatever it is, and a pistol. I mean, at least this one had a little bit of a variety, even if it is not realistic.
And they seem to do regular events. Like, they seem to put on regular events. I think last year in 2020, they had 4 events And when I'm talking events, like we just got done with the Christmas Crackdown, and before that it was like Infernal Resurrection, and then Perilous Plunder and Neon Nightmares last year. So it seems like they put on about 4 events a year since the game's release. Yeah, 4 a year. So I mean, it's kind of interesting. And like I said, the last one, Christmas Crackdown, with everybody was in Christmassy gear, bad guy. There was bad guys dressed up as Santas and all that kind of stuff. So they seem to be pretty active still, the development crew for this game. They're always putting out new weapons. With every event, they also put out new weapons and gear and clothing items. So the last one, they introduced like Frostfang, which is like the shotgun with the axe in front of it, and this weird looking vampire gun. And then the one before that, they had the miniguns and a mine thing, an arc generator, stuff like that. So they're very active development crew on it still. For a game that's been out for 3 years, they still seem to do a lot of development stuff with it every year. And it's not rehashed stuff. Like I looked at the Christmas event from last year, and it was called Yuletide Horror in 2019, and it was a little bit different because we played the Christmas event this year, so I knew what was in there. And like I said, it's all different how they dressed everybody up last year versus this year, and the enemies and stuff like that. So that's kind of an interesting concept for a game, especially for this game. I don't know how active their community or player base is, but for something this old to still be getting this much attention, which I guess if they're making money off of their loot boxes, I guess that's how they can still do this. I just don't know how many people are actually spending money on the loot box. It doesn't seem like, I didn't see anything in the loot boxes that I was just like, oh, I gotta have. I don't know about you guys, but I did look through them, but I wasn't planning on spending anything.
I think like this game, if you have a group of friends that play a game, and we've kind of fallen into a lull for new games that are really piquing our interest. This was a particularly good find for the time being to kind of get us through until the next couple of titles come out here pretty soon. So, I would suggest to people out there that, hey, if you haven't played this game, I think it was on sale for $15. I think it's probably not much more than that still now. Well worth just keeping yourself busy. I mean, there's some that are probably still playing Valhalla and playing Yakuza and playing Cyberpunk and stuff like that. But if you get a lull waiting for a new title to come out, this might be a little gap filler.
I mean, it's definitely a gap filler for us because we were looking for something co-op to play while we get a new co-op game. I mean, there's a few things that I've been trying to hold on for that just, because we don't have a whole lot of co-op games right now. I don't know about you guys, but I've been looking but haven't seen anything recently. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of filling that niche for us right now.
Yeah, it's been a pretty thin, 6 months, 8 months for new cooperative games. I mean, it's been rough, but this is one I wanted to check out for a long time. And just, it's just one of those things, never really had the time or, there was other things to do, but with games being pretty thin right now, new releases, this was really a perfect thing for us. Like Russ was saying, this is something buddies can get together. I mean, as we're playing through this thing and, shredding Zeds, we're spending our time BSing and laughing and, talking about the podcast, what we're going to do next, and, just having a good time. And that's what made it so much fun is there is objective stuff that makes it, a little more strategic in areas, which is great. But you could still just really relax and just blast away and have a good time. And that's what made the game, in my opinion, just perfect. And it was a perfect time for it. And I think that's one reason we all have enjoyed it so much. It's a perfect time for this game.
Yeah, it's just it fills that gap, as everybody said. It's got a plethora of different enemies. It's got a plethora of different bosses. It's got a whole bunch of different modes. One of the things that, like I said, active developer community is every week there's a new set of dailies and weeklies that come out. And the weekly, there's actually a weekly event that completely changes the gameplay. So once a week there's a type of gameplay that's put in the weekly gameplay that's different than what is the standard type of game modes. But it's usually a lot harder. Like we've tried a few of them, and they're insanely difficult. But we're not like capped out on level neither. I think like we're around level 20. We're all like if and around level 20 with the main character that we're all playing.
Yeah, it's about right.
So I mean, once we got to level 30, I imagine it would probably be a little bit easier because that's 2 different perk points that you get that drastically change the way the game plays. I mean, we've tried the super hard levels and just got beat down like there was no tomorrow.
Total decimation.
Like 3 waves in and we're getting raffle stomped. So, yeah, there's like 4 different variants or the 3 different main variants of Zeds. There's like the lesser Zeds, which is like the stalkers and the slashers and stuff like that. And there's like the medium level Zeds, which are like the bloaters, and then the husk, and then the robots, the little robots that shoot missiles at you. And then there's the 3 large ones, which is that quarter pound, the Scrake, and the flesh pound. And then there's elite variants of like quite a few of them. So once you get in the hard levels, we saw those, the ones that have like the sparkly blue tint to them. Those are like the elite variants. And then
I never got to see them guys too long. I was dead pretty quick once they hit the scene.
And from what I've been able to find, there's only like 5 bosses. There's that Hans Volter guy, the Patriarch, the Matriarch, the King Flesh Pound, and the Abomination.
Yeah.
So.
And the only one that really just violated us was the Matriarch.
Oh, she sucks. And there's probably a tactic out there on her, but she just sucks.
Yeah, when she showed up, it was pretty much set your controller down almost. I mean, we beat her, 2 times, maybe 3?
Yeah, she's killed us more times than that, though.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
But the game is all about also looking for vulnerable spots. So that's how you beat bosses is you can either bullet sponge them down, but as the higher level you get, that's the harder it gets because the Matriarch, for an example, the Matriarch, until she opens up her helmet, her vulnerable spot is like the left claw, and then once her helmet opens up, you want to shoot her in the face. That's her vulnerable spot. But it's an interesting game. I'm ready for something new, just because I'm ready for a change in the co-op. I really wish for a game that's been out for 3 years, they should have a little bit more objective-based play in it. And what I mean by objective is they only have 6 objective maps, and so they're just the same thing over and over, and we played through all of them. So I'm ready they either need to add some more. I would think they need more objective-based, because that's the fun. I think that's the funnest. I don't know about you guys, but I think those are the best parts, is the objective-based, not not just running around killing zombies. It is what it is. Or Zeds, I should say. They're not zombies. They're Zeds, and they're bioengineered super weapons or superhumans type thing. But it is what it is, and it's definitely filling that gap for us. We played it for a whole weekend, pretty much, and now we're definitely getting a lot further and progressing on a lot harder enemies. So.
One thing about the maps, though, which is kind of odd, I wish they'd have done a little bit better job, is the objectives you get. There's 20 maps, give or take, in total, but you can only do like 5 or 6 on objective. I noticed the versus, I think it was 8 maps. And that kind of sucks. I wish they, had something for everything, but some of the maps are really cool though. I mean, you've got traps and stuff. You could suck them into a blade or hit them with a plasma beam or something like that. Throughout the maps, they have some really cool ones like that, which I don't think I noticed previously. All the times we played it, but we just discovered the last few times we played. It's like, oh, look, a button, and then you hit it, and I believe it was Russ you sucked into a fan blade or something. Or set on fire?
There's so many. Yeah, we basically screw around and that stuff. Somebody sucked me into a fan blade, and every zone has like unique interactable environments. I don't know how many maps there are. I thought there was more than 20, but there may only be 20. It looked like a lot. It was a lot.
There's definitely plenty of maps. I mean, there's definitely plenty of maps, and there's interactiveness in the maps and stuff like that. I mean, it's a game that's obviously, since it's got a few years behind it, it's probably had some upgrades and some changes and some map adds. So, one of these games is actually best to get a couple of years down the road, because when it probably was first released, there's probably 4 or 5 maps. that was it, and you were bored with it in a weekend. Whereas here, luckily, they have enough of a variation to probably keep us, somewhat interested for, a boring night for a couple of months at least. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just found a list. There's 33. There's 33 maps.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, there's a lot. It looks like when the game initially launched, there was only 3 maps. So, yeah, just like Russ said.
There you go.
Just like Russ said.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Lots
well,
of maps.
Let's be honest. It's the same. It's the same marketing or business model for a game like that's been used for going on a decade now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just start with a few maps and then add more. Because it looks like this game has had some DLC and stuff like that since it came out. So, I want
$15 can't beat it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Can't beat it. We've got our money's worth easily out of it. I just want some more objective-based maps. I do like that the game kind of scales with you. If you go in there with a group of 3 people, it's this much. You can even go in there by yourself and play. I don't know how much fun you'll have. I mean, it is what it is on single player, but 1 to 6 player, and the way that it scales difficulty is by the number of mobs and the number and the actual health. So, like a 1 player, an example would be, we were talking about the matriarch. So if you play it on single player on a normal mode, she has 4,900 health, but on a 5-player game, she has 14,700 health. So that's how they kind of do that. And then they also armor. So you think about a 1-player game, she has 1,400 armor, but on a 5-player game, she has 4,200 units of armor. So
I did sneak a normal and a hard in by myself on a single player. The normal was pretty much like what we've been playing. It wasn't that terrible. The hard was pretty rough. I think I got to wave 6 or so of 10, but again, it was still challenging enough. I mean, I'm sure that if it was at the end of the night after we'd been playing for a while, so I was kind of like also dead-eyed too. So it was solid. I mean, but at the same time, it's the same game, single players, multiplayer. There's no storyline. It's just go and basically try to get as much XP and points to free up stuff. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's what it is.
Right. And yeah, like I said, the game's pretty good. It's got some pretty cool AI and aggro mechanics and stuff like that. So, I mean, a lot of the bosses will peel off of a target if another target's doing a lot more damage to them than they are. So the AI in this game seems to be pretty spot on and something you would expect from a game that's been out in development for this long. I don't even know how this game fared over the years. Does anybody know what average rating it is or anything like that?
No, I was thinking about looking, but honestly, I want to judge it for how I've played it, and it may have sucked a butt when it came out, but I enjoy what they've done to it. I think they put a lot of love into the game, and I don't think they ever once tried to shortchange the players on it. I mean, they seem to really work hard to put out content and make the game fun day after day. And considering how old it is, that's pretty good.
It's just one of those games that's got a solid cult following, probably that they're making enough off of it monthly or whatever through the purchases and stuff to continue on. I mean, it's kind of the same as Rainbow Six. It's kind of the same as like Rocket League. I know Rocket League is massive if you really consider it because it's got a whole esports base, but I mean, it's just the same principle. It's just something it's a whole lot of fun that there are some people that'll probably get sucked into it and that's all they ever play. And then there's guys, I guess, that we just run across it and like, man, it's a pretty fun game. I mean, it's definitely worth a buy,
Right. And I knew I like these guys. They're the same guys that make Maneater. That shark game that I keep telling you guys to play.
Yeah, I definitely want to give that one a try too. I think these guys have done a fantastic job. I mean, they seem to make the game, and they want to make the game fun and continuously do it. And they've dropped some really cool DLCs and things like that. And I loved when we first fired it up. We got right into the Christmas stuff, and that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was definitely fun.
So those damn packages climbed up and killed me.
Yep, all these Christmas packages chasing you down.
Damn you, Santa.
So, cool. Sounds like overall, I mean, we all enjoyed it. We all tend to play we tend to go to this one now. We've kind of stopped playing Rainbow Six Siege and have kind of played this one for a while now. You know, Rainbow Six Siege will come back when they go out with their Outbreak or whatever it was called. It's in a few
Been pushed.
months or a year plus. So, but that
Yeah,
was
I don't
also
think
only a
we'll see
3-player
that.
game. That was also only going to be 3 players. So,
Yeah, stupid 3-player crap. Drive me nuts.
Nick, what about you, man? Anything else on this one?
No, not really. I mean, I think you guys pretty much nailed it out there. You know, it's a fun game. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to play with friends. You know, like I said, I think it'll be in our rotation for a while, just when we don't have anything else to play. But yeah, it's a good game. Check it out.
Cool.
Yep.
Anybody else got anything they want to add?
Yeah, and if you didn't understand the Cowboy Way steak reference at the beginning of this, you need to look it up. It's great.
Yep, the steak scene from the Cowboy Way. That's how Shane
Love
likes
that
his
movie.
steak.
Best part of that movie when dude asks for a cigarette and Woody Harrelson bends over, picks that old butt up off the ground. I got your brand right here.
Those movies aren't allowed anymore, Shane. Can't have that.
I know. I know. Can't have fun no more.
All right. Well, anybody else got anything they want to add?
I'm good. I think we nailed it.
All right. Well, I
Nope.
think we're all in agreement. It's a good game. Just check it out if you haven't already. It's probably really on sale right about now. It's always on sale right about now. It's pretty cheap. So, well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you on the next one.